ready? All right. What up, world? Welcome to You Ain't Up on This podcast. Let's give it up to Merc from the boiler room because this whole setting is crazy. This is not what I normally do. Y'all know either at somewhere grimy or we're somewhere lifting weights and working out. But always check into You Ain't Up on This podcast, flizzmusic.com. But moving right along, we got someone special in the building. If y'all don't know, y'all should get to know. And if y'all don't know, y'all will know after this. This young man goes by the name of Chach. And I'll vouch, I put people on songs with me that I think are fire as hell. And he's on a joint with me that you can see on YouTube. But this man, I'm not gonna say this too much. I don't want to think I'm swearing you too much.
Nah,
you know what I mean? Nah, he's nasty like that. And I only put nasty people. That sounds wrong. I only put people who rhyme nasty on my albums. But you want to introduce yourself, Chach? You know what I'm saying?
My brother, appreciate you.
What do you want them to know about you first?
I go by the name of Chach. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, and pretty much like he said, if you haven't heard of me yet, you will soon enough.
That's what's up. All right, I'm gonna start right off because we was talking before this started, and this man was playing a fire beat, and me and Merc was like, "What's that about?" So you gotta explain that before we start.
That's actually from one of my favorite producers in Rhode Island, Jay DePina. I'm sure everybody knows.
Shout out Jay.
100%. He's crazy. He actually produced a joint with me and Chachi on a late album, The Intermission. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. But yeah, dope producer. And what he does is every single day or every other day, essentially, he'll make a beat and he'll make it live, or he'll record himself making it and then he'll put it on Instagram.
Yep.
That was one of the beats that he did. So as he kind of does that as an exercise, I kind of follow suit. So every time he uploads a beat, I'm sitting there, I'll write a 16, you know what I mean, to the beat that he posted. Every joint is hard, you know what I mean, that he posts on his Instagram. So that's
what's
just,
up.
Yeah, so that's just the type of stuff that I, you know what I mean, I've seen that he's done it, you know what I mean, I'm like, yo, if he's putting the work in to release a video of him creating a beat damn near every single day, if not every other day, let me kind of pen something to it, you know what I mean? Let me practice, get my sword sharp, you know what I mean? And just kind of lyrical exercise, word to hove, you know what I mean? And just kind of go from there. So I've been doing that a lot, you know what I mean? I got probably 40 verses plus of just rapping on Jay DePina beats. But I would always hit him up and hit him with I'll send the beat over to him and be like, yo, can I get this one? Can I get this one? And I know there's no love lost or nothing, but he'll probably wild busy and he'll never get back to me. So I remember I was at Fishco one night and I seen Zay, his son, my guy as well. And I told him, I was like, what's good with your pops? I was like, I don't think he rocks with me, you know what I mean, or something. Because like I said, he had given me a beat before. Yeah. The me and Chachi joint. And he's like, that's so crazy you say that, because I was just talking to him like 2 nights ago, and he was like, if there's anybody in the state that he'll do a collab album with, it would be Chach. And I'm sitting there like I'm like kind of mind blown. I'm like, yo, that's one of my favorite producers, and he's kind of tapped in with me. And I know he's just obviously busy, and he relayed that message as well. Like sometimes he's not always looking at his DMs and stuff. So like, you know what I mean, the messages might slip between the cracks, but you know what I mean, it's nothing but love, and there'll be a lot coming from him and myself very soon.
That's what's up. You just reminded me of something when you said Chach and Chachi. Has there been any kind of like people confusing y'all because the names are so close? Yeah,
most definitely. I've had a lot of people be like, oh, I thought you were a lot older, you know what I mean? It's people that have heard of him, you know what I mean, and haven't really seen him in person. I've been hearing you for the past 20 years, yada yada yada. I'm like, nah, that's Chachi Carvalho from Pawtucket. And again, shouts to Chachi. He's one of my favorite.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah,
he's one of my
favorite. You know what's up, man. 100%. On my tracks to you too. But nah, for real.
Off top.
For real, I was thinking that gotta be crazy because you two are like 20 years apart, but you're both pillars. Like everybody knows Chach Carvalho. Chachi Carvalho is the guy around.
That's
here.
What I'm saying for
He's
sure.
He's the man, you know. But I don't know if you realize how actually big you have grown to be. You know, especially in our city, in our town, our state. I'm like wondering because I'm like, yo, he's a young man. He might not understand like people know him. I go into the jails with the kids, you know, and they've heard of you. You know, people that's my huge. Age. Yeah, I'm an old cat. You know what I mean? people my age have heard of you. On my other podcast, we
That's
were
dope.
talking about you so much that shout out to Charles was like, we gotta stop bringing up, you know what I'm saying? But we used to call you Dreamville at the time.
Yeah, Dreamville, yeah.
So it's just Chach, and I learned. But I was trying to let you know you're a big name around here.
I appreciate
so
that,
it's
my
like
brother.
you're the next generation.
Yeah, there's so much more work to come, you know what I mean? I appreciate all the love and support that I have gotten from the city. Everybody that does continuously show me love. It's definitely not going unnoticed, so definitely keep that in mind. And like I said, there's just so much more to come, you know what I mean? We just got our head down and we're ready to rock.
Word. All right, coming up though, who are your biggest influences for the music you do?
In general?
Anybody, anything that was your influence, and why? What made you when you touched that mic?
Hove's number one for sure. Has been since I was a J. My mom's favorite artist has been Jay-Z since before I could remember. I remember literally just listening to Reasonable Doubt, The Blueprint, The Dynasty, The Black Album, even Kingdom Come. I remember when that dropped. Kingdom Come dropped with a it was a CD, but it had the 3D glasses in there because it was kind of like the red and the black. And I remember being a kid, like literally just listening to the music, having the 3D glasses on, looking at the case. I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy. But even before that, the reason why I even tapped in is because my mom would literally be so in love with him. We'd be driving in the car and we'd be listening to Hove.
Yeah.
And he'll say some shit, you know what I mean? Some crazy shit, you know what I mean? Or it'd be some simple shit because he was so smooth with that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, you know what I mean? That and she would run it back, like, yo, listen, you listening to that? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, yeah, I really sit back and listen. I'd be like, damn. And now I'm older, realizing, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's just life. And yeah, so I'd say Hove is number one for sure. I love Nas. The storytelling came from Nas for sure. And then as I got older and was able to kind of like pick my own music, you know what I mean? Obviously Hove was still number one, but then Wayne was huge. Carter 2 came out, the whole hustler music, stuff like that. I was definitely heavily influenced. Kendrick Lamar, a little later on, you know what I mean? I remember being in middle school, Section 80, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Overly Dedicated and Good Kid, Mad City. And then of course, Cole. You know what I mean?
Oh, J.
Yeah.
Cole, yeah.
J. Cole, first signed.
Jermaine Cole.
Jermaine. So I think I might have named like 4, you know what I mean? But honorable mention. So I'm going Hove, Nas, Hove, Nas,
Cole.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's a powerful list. And I got shout out to Lil Wayne because I tell people Lil Wayne's to me the greatest Southern rapper ever to touch a mic.
Oh,
he
for
would
sure.
get mad at me.
Yeah, nah.
I'm like, you act like I said something blasphemous or something.
Nah.
Like, you know what I mean? But you know,
I mean, he was just so witty. You know what I mean? I think I got a little bit from every one of those guys. Like I said, as far as the storytelling, as far as the cadence, as far as like how you say things, what you say.
Yep.
Realizing that obviously being brought up is the main goal. That's just the sport that we're in. You know what I mean? But then there's like, how can you get your message across with saying the least? You know what I mean? Like something powerful enough to reach the world, but it's not like too witty to go over everybody's head. You know what I mean? Like let them like slow it down a little bit. Let them capture it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Got that from Hove. You know what I mean? I feel like he was kind of one of the ones that was obviously a lot of sneaky shit in there that you won't catch, but he kind of dumbed down for my audience, double my dollars, criticized me for it. Now we all yell holla.
Oh, you ain't playing, y'all. You know
now off top, you know what I mean? Like that's just Hove's. Yeah, Hove's number one for me for sure. You know what I mean? But it's stuff like that because it's like I feel like that was Lupe Fiasco, one of my favorite artists as well. That was one of his problems. He got to the point where he was trying to make the message get across a little more than he was trying to make the quality of music good. If that makes any sense, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just feel like try to find that happy medium because I was always told that music is one of the most powerful things in the world. You know what I mean? I feel like I really don't meet many people that don't gravitate to music. You know what I mean? It might be their own kind, but yeah, music I feel like controls everybody in a sense. Yeah.
Is there a part of like music industry or the game that you like your likes and dislikes? Like what is your likes and dislikes of it?
When I was younger and you know what I mean, I was coming up, I felt like I'm talking like I was in like high school, probably 10th grade. I was not a fan of the mainstream music that was releasing at the time. You know what I mean? Like the Fetty Wap, the stuff like that. Like it was dope. It was cool. But I was like, yo, I'm sitting here in my room for hours, you know what I mean? Sitting here writing verses, yada, yada, yada. Almost like, and I don't think like that now that I've matured, you know what I mean? I've appreciated the art that they do. I can't and probably won't do, you know what I mean? And the art that I do, they can and, you know what I mean? They can't and probably won't do either, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I feel like music's music. We all got to coexist together, you know what I mean? So I don't really feel like there's many dislikes as far as what's going on right now. But when I was coming up, it was like, and I still feel like it now because of just the old school vibe that I had, but I feel like getting signed to a label is like, that's where you need to be. That's the end all be all. Like you signed, you made it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now that's not the case. You don't even gotta be signed. There's more independent artists now than ever before. I feel like you get your TikTok busting.
Get your buzz,
get your TikTok busting. As long as your Instagram followers are there, like you really could gain some traction. As long as your leverage is there. But like I said, I still be thinking, oh, I gotta sign this deal. I gotta get, you know what I mean? Gotta sign this deal, and it's like that's not really how it is nowadays. It's just
that's real.
Building that leverage.
If you can get a buzz, they're gonna chase you.
Exactly, and that's what a wise man told me. My old head told me, he was like, yo, get it to the point where they need you more than you need them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And get it to the point where you're selling 150,000 shirts annually. You know what I mean? Now it's like, yo, they're looking at it on papers. Oh, he's generating residuals. He's worth something. He's beneficial. You know what I mean? And then they're chasing you, and then you're like, I'll accept if the number's right. You know what I mean? Or if the contract's right or whatever.
Yeah, if you're not robbing me too much.
Exactly. You know how it is.
Music is robbing people.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of like, it's breaking my heart nowadays listening to the Joe Buddens and listening to the people literally saying that music is at an all-time low. These cats are saying like, yo, music as far as residuals, as far as, you know what I mean, people making money off of streams, as far as people make, you know what I mean, like it's at an all-time low. People aren't, you know what I mean? And I'm like, god damn, this is my life. Not to say that that's what I'm doing it for, but it's like, yo, this is my career path, and I got people saying that music's on a, you know what I mean, like, as far as the labels kind of picking and choosing and pushing certain artists and shelving certain artists, it's like, I know people that are signed that's still at their mom's house, you know what I mean? That's serious. And that has me thinking, is like, is being signed really where it's at? I know old dude signed that's, you know what I mean, literally still at his mom's crib. I know people that aren't signed that are doing shows left and right, yada, yada, yada. So it's like, kind of what works for you. That's really what it comes down to.
I always say this to everybody. It's kind of like finding out there's no Santa Claus. When you find out the real, you know, like, oh snap! Like
I'm saying, it's breaking my heart. Like it's like, god damn, that's real.
But nah, I'll say this, dude. Don't get too frustrated. Do what you do. You're wild young. You got like game ahead of you. You know what I mean? So, but just do what you got to do to make yourself hot.
Appreciate that.
Listen, but there's gonna be a question I want to know.
Where am I?
Chach,
where am I? Right here?
I'm at looking at any camera. Chach, in your opinion, perspective or intermission?
That's a tough one.
Now, if y'all don't know, perspective and intermission are two of his. I don't know if those are your only two albums, but those are the ones I know.
Nah, my first one was 9799.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Yeah,
I gotta go back then. But perspective. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I did a write-up on both of his albums, and when he dropped Perspective that year, I was like, this might be the best album of this year. Then he dropped Intermission like the following year.
Right, January.
I was like, god damn, this dude isn't missing anymore. You know what I mean? I never heard him miss, but this dude's putting albums out crazy. So look for Intermission. It's INNER-mission, Intermission and Perspective. But anyway, back to you. Intermission or Perspective?
That's a great question, because I feel like those two albums are very different. What I did with Intermission is I got some of my favorite artists throughout the city that I haven't worked with, and I put them all on a compilation album while making some of the greatest music, some of the greatest producers, you know what I mean? I might have to go. See, it's tough. I bite my tongue for that. I mean, I'll go Perspective, because for me, I love locking in to make music. You know what I mean? I love creating a storyline, creating like almost like a movie, like a Scorsese, a Spike Lee. You know what I mean? Like from start to finish, bottom to top. You know what I mean? And I feel like Perspective was that a more polished version of 9799. It just showed me and how much I've grown from there on a solo tip. You know what I mean? Because as far as how I started off creating albums and putting albums out, it was just all by myself. That's why Intermission was a little different, because every single song was a feature. You know what I mean? From somebody, whether I had the song already, the beat, the song, the hook, and then just sent it to somebody for them to just lay a verse, or I just told them find a beat, or if I sent them the beat and was like cook something to it, one of those 3 ways. That's how kind of Intermission came out. So for a shorter answer, I would probably say Perspective without biting myself in the tongue, because of the just the compilation of it. But I love Intermission because those are some of my favorite songs that I was able to make with some of my favorite artists from the city.
Yep.
Like genuinely, and I feel like the growth from the two. You know what I mean? With Miss Marrow's Ain't On Nothing to Haunt Me.
That song is crazy.
That's a joint, you know what I mean? And
Hell
that was made in like 30 minutes.
Shout out to Miss Marrow.
Shout out to Miss Marrow.
Yo, if you ever see her perform live,
she's crazy. Her energy's crazy. Shouts to Joe Bruce, Haunt Me.
Yep.
That was one of the joints. Shouts to Ancient Frost. You know what I mean? I had him on the joint. Frosty the Dope Man. He's out in Atlanta. Everybody who was on it. Shouts to Merc for the mastering on it. You know what I mean? Shit sounds amazing. This Merc, man. That's the guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, it just sounds amazing. Sounds beautiful. So I'm blessed. That's another thing. Like, I'll be sitting in bed sometimes. I'm like, yo, imagine how hard this shit would be if I didn't have Merc, if I didn't have Clark, if I didn't have Key. You know what I mean? Like these dope producers and these key words. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. 100%.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Key words. Hell yeah, man. If I didn't have these dope producers that put the battery in my back, you know what I mean? And people like Merc people take Merc for granted, you know what I mean? The type of quality like Merc puts out it's unmatched, you know what I mean? Like, it's like y'all are getting industry quality for crumbs, you know what I mean? You're going to Quad Studios. I went to the brewery, I went to Quad Studios, you know what I mean? Not even gassing them up. Like, I got those records back, and maybe they didn't mix them the way that they should have or whatever, but it's like, I'm getting those records back and they're watery, you know what I mean? It's like, I go to Merc and every single time, consistent, you know what I mean? It's there, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a bar that he has set and he doesn't dip, you know what I mean? Doesn't dip below that. So we're blessed to have that. We're blessed to have that type of,
shout out to Merc. Kenny Mercado. Boiler Room Studios, Providence, Rhode Island. You hit him up. Website, I think, is boilerroomstudios.com.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, man, I'd be blessed. Like, as far as, like, if it wasn't for all these cats, my job would be a lot harder. As far as finding great quality, as far as being able to put it out, as far as being able to work with these producers and getting the splits down and being able to really have ownership of our stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's huge. So.
I'll say one thing about your music, bro. Well, I'm going to back up, because when I first heard Perspective, I remember that's kind of around the time I first really met you.
100%.
I was like, all right, so I'm listening to the album, and what I get from the album was like, yo, this dude he's an artist that's in the music, in a sense. Like, you buried yourself in the music. You're not just, there's a lot of people who can just rap and just rap and saying crap over a beat.
100%.
But I was like, that's not this young man. And you know, being my age, we'll look at young people with a different ear and we'll watch with a different eye. Like, what is this young man gonna do? And you're like, oh my God. And I remember we were like, he's kind of like, for lack of a better term, we was like, he's throwback. But he's rapping now. He's rapping like young people now. But his I guess passion.
Passion, yeah.
So we older folks want to give you a shout out, and we always talk about who's gonna carry the torch. We'll always like name you. So Perspective gave me that kind of feel. It's like, yo, this young man is in the pocket. It felt like you was kind of in your room, like, you know, just like, you know, this is what I want to be. Then Intermission, you did feel a growth, a maturity. Like you said, with even the features, and it's like, oh, he's getting comfortable. You know,
comfortable. I was about to say settling in, taking my shoes off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Put my coat on the coat rack.
But yet you didn't lose anything on the sequel.
That's real.
You know, because it's like, oh, I hope he don't mess it up, but he didn't. And I want to say one more thing. Shout out to your man Zach, because that dude's album I follow right up after this. I love dope albums, man. I'll listen to anybody's album is dope.
My brother Zach, man, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if anybody works as hard as Zach. I mean, the only person who I feel like works harder than Zach is probably Chach Carvalho. Other than that, you know what I mean? Yep. Just as far as like And even then, nobody works harder than Zach. Nah, and I'm keeping that there. You know what I mean?
Yep,
like the fact is like, yo, he's waking up in the morning and he's going to paint. You know what I mean? And then he's going to sell his paintings, and then later at night he's going to teach these kids boxing. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? And then he's going home, and then he's writing music. You know what I mean? This is in a 24-hour span, and then he wakes up and does it all over again.
Yep.
He's disciplined. I look up to Zach. You know what I mean? As far as his discipline, as far as how he carries himself. You know what I mean? He doesn't smoke. He barely drinks. You know what I mean? He's very. He knows what his goal is, and I feel like is not scared to do what it takes to get there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, man, shouts to Zach as well. I love Zach. That's my brother.
Definitely.
He brings the best out of me, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's my guy.
Do you choose all your own beats, or does anybody be like, hey, rock this for me? Or is it 100% have to be you?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's just myself kind of searching, you know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, I have Clark send me some heat, you know what I mean? Like, yo, see what you could do with that, and it's for the most part always gas. But yeah, I'm very, like, I know if I'm gonna use the beat, literally probably the first 10 seconds of the beat, you know what I mean? The first 10 seconds I'm hearing it, all right, I'm switching it, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird because I feel like sometimes that's like bittersweet because it's like, let it rock out, you know what I mean? Like, let it rock out, let it try to grow on you, but it's like, nah, try to be.
You feel it should be instantaneous
I feel
right
it.
now.
If I don't feel it, like if I don't feel it, or if I don't get that first bar, like 9 times out of 10, the start, like the first 2-3 bars of a verse that I have on one of my songs or whatever, it's like freestyle. You know what I mean? I'm freestyling it. Oh, that's hard. Boom, setting it off, and then I'll write it down, and then you know what I mean. That's kind of how I go. So
all right.
Yeah, if
I advise you to move. Nah, I had to.
That's real though.
When it comes to collabs, does it work the same way as far as beats, or will you just be like, all right, I'll just do it because the beat's all right, or have you ever turned down a collab because you're like, nah, the beat is trash, or you know?
I've told a couple people, like just recently somebody sent me a beat I kind of wasn't feeling it. I didn't really turn the collab down. I was like, yo, I'm down to work. This isn't really the record.
It's not this beat.
This isn't this one, you know what I mean? But when I was younger, I had always tried to just, regardless, rap on whatever somebody sent me because I'm like, there ain't a beat out there I can't rap on. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I look like, you know what I mean? It's like, nah, I can rap on anything, and I'm outshining.
You get that mentality. I'm gonna kill it just cause it's whack, but I'm gonna sound dope on
100%. And I'm, you know what I mean? But then it got to the point where I'm just kind of a little more passive. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of, you know what I mean? It's just, and if I rock with it, I rock with it. If I don't, you know what I mean? Find something I rock with. But another thing is like, I'm rapping a lot, and like, another thing that kind of messes with me is I'll be writing something quick, you know what I mean? Like I'll be at work, you know what I mean? I'll break or something, and I'll just get inspired and I'll write something, and like the whole thing will be trash, I'll feel like, but then there'll be like 2-3 bars or like 4 bars in there that I'm like, yo, that's hard. Yep. But I'm not the type to take those and put it with something else, you know what I mean? Or put it, you know what I mean? So I just try to, when I write, I just like to, I mean, it's this bar, and I'm just going and just, you know what I mean, just fluently go, you know what I mean? It's tough for me to try to like take this 4 and put it over there, then this 4 over there, and just try to puzzle it together. Like, I'd rather just, what Clark calls it is Swiss cheese bars, you know what I mean? So if I have a bar that I don't like really like have set up, I'll rap like say 3 bars, and then that 4th bar, I'll leave blank, then rap the other, and then literally I'll go back and I'll write it while I'm in the booth, you know what I mean? So it's like I'll hear it and then write it and then kind of fill in those from there.
I got you.
Clark calls it Swiss cheese verses. You got a Swiss cheese verse?
Shout out to Clark since we're talking about him. Shout out to you.
Yeah,
Clark,
man, Clark, that's my guy.
That's what's up.
We got a tape coming, a collab tape on the way. I don't want to say too much, but be on the lookout.
You don't want to put too much out there. Why not? Why not on You Ain't Up on this podcast?
Only because we have like all the music for it, but we don't have like a name or like an album cover or like anything. We just have so much music, you know what I mean? That we're just and we know this is what we want to do, but I'll give you this. What we want to do is something smooth, like recreate a cover of a dope duo. You know what I mean? Like an Andre 3000, have me sitting there with the key, you know what I mean? Something like that. And just redo a classic album cover and have Clark be one guy and me be the other. You know what I mean? So we're just trying to figure out the best one, like a Lethal Weapon or something like that. It doesn't specifically have to be music, but sports, movies, any of the best duos, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we got like 5 to 7 dope duos that we kind of might use. But yeah, it's just slowly in the works.
All right. Is there a genre of music that you want to do, but you might be scared of, or you just haven't gotten around to?
Yes and no, because I feel like if I do want to do something, like I always used to think, oh, I'm not gonna do that, but it's like, you don't have to put it out. You know what I mean? Like, yo, just have fun. So this time, like, I got joints of like me rapping with like that Detroit style. You know what I mean? That Detroit type flow. You know what I mean? With the
I'm not up on
you're
what
not
the
up. Just
Detroit
very
flow is,
simple,
yeah.
very simple type. You know what I mean? Like just that drill type. Got a couple drill joints. I got a couple like melodic joints. I'm trying to follow the melodic tip. I'm trying to go a little bit more singy. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stretch my vocals a little more. So that's really where I kind of want to go as far as like releasing music.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I'll always make music, and like, if I get inspired by a country record, I'll hop on there.
Hell yeah.
So.
All right. Well, is there anything you want the people out there to know that they don't know about you that I didn't ask, or you just want to put out there?
Not so much, man. Just the fact of, like I said, if you haven't heard of me yet, you will very soon. Respectfully, you know what I mean? Nobody's working as hard as us as far as this whole music tip. You know what I mean? Like the goal that I'm headed for. There's really not much that's gonna stop me. You know what I mean? And we know that. Like we're just trying to figure out the best way to market the music that we have, because the little bit of love that we have gotten, you know what I mean, on Spotify, we got joints at 100,000 plus streams. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people. I was actually just on the radio in Germany. I think it was Germany, like Hamburg or something. They were playing me on the radio, and it's wild random because I woke up in the morning, I'm sitting there, and I got tagged in a German podcast or a German radio station in Hamburg, and I go on it, and this dude just speaking German the whole time, and he's just like, oh, great hip hop, Chach and Zach, and then plays a Goodfellas joint, and then plays a joint for me. You know what I mean? It's
That's
just
fire.
Germany, so it makes me, I was like, all right, let me see what the streams are looking like. I have more streams in like Germany, the UK, Australia than I do in America. It's weird, you know what I mean? Like, not weird because obviously this is the demographic of music, but
I don't find that weird at all. Sometimes it's like people away from you give you more love than people closest to you. I kind of seen that coming up. So as you move on in your ventures in this music, do know, I'm sure you know this because I listen to your music, but don't just try to appeal to people here,
That's
people
real.
close to you. Working with young people, like teenagers, they do music for their block and their hood.
Yeah, other people,
like,
yeah.
And then they get mad, like, oh, I don't get a show here. It's like, bro, because if I own a venue, I'm not putting you in there
100%.
with that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like, hey, what do you want to do? Oh, which remind me, have you ever, two questions. Who is your favorite person you ever rocked the stage with? One. And what do you describe, if not describe, I'll say first. Have you ever been scared to get on stage?
So I'll start with that one. I've honestly never been scared to get on stage. Even like my sisters, everybody's like, yo, how, you're not a little nervous? Like,
Not even at the beginning?
Literally not even at the beginning. It was weird. Like I've never been scared. Even the Strange show, you know what I mean? I've never been, I don't know.
Different with that one. All right?
Yeah. Nah, I just genuinely feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just weird because what I would do in the beginning, I feel that what made me feel better is I felt like everybody's like, oh, picture everybody naked. But what I did was I pictured I was rapping in front of like a TV. You know what I mean? Like everybody in the crowd wasn't like really there. It was more of like a virtual thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like, even if they didn't like me, they weren't right in front of my face to tell me they didn't like me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel like I subconsciously moved it.
Yep.
And then that was bad because I wasn't making eye contact with certain people. I was kind of rapping like this. And shouts to Chip Doug, because it was one show. Chip was like, yo, Chach, you're the one. You're gonna make it. He said, you got those hooks that are catchy enough. You know what I mean? He was like, but there's one thing. And I was like, but. I was like, fuck. I was like, what do you have to say? Any constructive criticism, I'm the first one to accept it, because it's like, yo, you guys are looking at me from a third party view. Who do I look like? I could take it as hate, and I might be able to apply it, or I might not. I might sweep it under the rug, or I might apply it, but who am I to not at least hear what you have to say? You know what I mean? I know people that are very like conceited, like, nah, there's nothing you could tell me, you know what I mean? There's nothing, I mean, I know what I'm doing and yada, yada, yada. And I used to be like that. But nah, he was like, when you're rapping a lot, you rap like this and you're very like closed, you know what I mean? You're closed. He said, try to rap with your chest out, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And make eye contact with certain people. Making eye contact. And then literally the next show, I think he put me on Where the Stars Align or something like that. And I did that. I remembered. I was like, all right, let me try to like rap with my chest out. Look at all these people, you know what I mean? And individually, a bar with them, you know what I mean? And I did that and I felt like the energy that got reciprocated was just matched, you know what I mean? Like it was just dope, you know what I mean? Like people were looking at me, people were a lot, I feel like happier that I was interacting with them, you know what I mean? One bar pointing at you, bringing it over here. Shouts to you guys over here, left, right, yada, yada, yada. Like one of your joints, I forget what the song is, but that brings it to one of my favorite performers that I performed with. 100% Fliz, you, no question. 100%, you got that one, my dog. Just your crowd control, you know what I mean? What's that song where you say it's pretty much interacting with the left and the right, but but it's like yo, that's one of my favorite joints that I've ever seen perform like in my whole life, because it's like you can get somebody that's never heard that song ever, and like the simplicity of it, how hard that joint is, like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's what you need to really grasp the crowd, and that joint does that for sure.
That's what's up.
So,
thank you for that.
Ending it with that.
And you know what's crazy is that I was taught when I was younger. I'll say, listen to females. If you want to open up like your performance, dudes, we know shit too, but listen to a female, because a female, Merc's wife, is the one who opened up, and bless his sister, and opened up my eyes for when she was like, I used to have this grimy face all the time, you know? But she was like, nah, show yourself, smile, B. And ever since then, it opened up this whole world of different stuff that just forced me to not be this dude. Like you was closed off.
Exactly.
Because you think you got to be a rapper.
A rapper on that point, but
so
nah, just
it was Merc's wife that was like, yo, like, don't be that. That's not who you are, because she knows me. I'm a clown.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. I'm silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be yourself on
don't
stage.
Don't be able to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So, like, with you're a barsmith, pretty much. Like, you know, let that out there, bro. Any websites, and let them know everywhere they can reach you.
It's Chach.com is the website. It might be down right now because we are uploading a slew of new merch. We have anywhere from socks to lighters, hoodies, crew necks, sweatpants, sweatshirts, t-shirts, thermals. We have so much coming. So shouts to my guy Nate Brown. He should be in the process of putting that up. If it's not up right now, it will be in the near future, a week or so. Chach401 on Instagram. It's Chach401 on YouTube. Chach on all streaming platforms. That's Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal. And if you haven't heard of me yet, you will very soon.
You ain't up on this, but now you are up on this. Get at us. It's flizzmusic.com. I'll say it's flizzmusic.com. It's Chach.com, right?
It's Chach.com.
It's Chach.com.
Also have one more announcement before we go. December 12th, 25th anniversary, we'll be at the Strand again to open up for the Locks. So be there, be square.
All right. I'm in the building that day. I'll be there. 100%.
100%. Peace and love.